Hello everybody, it is Larry. I need to make a video right fucking now. Zeepsterd here, and welcome to a tier list. I am bouncing on a trend, yes I am. So you should probably already know what all of this is about. Rule 1, I'm not counting these fools because they're contemporary presidents. At me like 20 years from now if you really want to know my thoughts on them, but I want to give it some time to see what long-lasting effects they've truly had on the country. So, first things first, George Epic, first in the nation, Washington. So if you're the first president, you automatically set the first precedent of what will follow. For the first guy to ever hold the office, he didn't do a bad job. And in the mistakes he did, he even admits in his farewell address that like, yeah, I kind of fucked up there. So I'd rank him high A tier. He is frankly the father of the nation, and that title isn't given to him lightly. John, he was pretty fat Adams. John Adams was kind of a dick. Of course you have the XYZ affair, and then you have the Alien Sedition Acts. So in those acts, basically John Adams was just like, hey, don't make critical statements against the government, or I'll fucking deport you out of the country. So, yes, he infringed on the First Amendment when the First Amendment had only existed for almost 10 years at that point. Second president, kinda shit, only won one term for a reason. Lost against good old Thomas Jefferson. He fucked his slave, Sally Hemings. Main thing about this guy was the Louisiana Purchase, which was a huge chunk of land, transformed the United States rapidly. Lewis and Clark exploded, thanks to Napoleon. Do I think he was hypocritical? Absolutely. But does that make him really a terrible person? No, we're all hypocritical in some way. B tier. James Madison resided over the War of 1812. War of a bit of a little importance. People don't really talk about it. Because if I'm being honest, nothing was really gained during the War of 1812. I mean, the Star-Spangled Banner came out of that, so that was neat. Thanks, James. He's upper C. James Monroe was one of the last of the Founding Father presidents. He was okay. Nothing too noteworthy in his two terms. Just A-okay. Wait, how could I forget about the Monroe Doctrine? That was also a thing. John Quincy Adams, like his father, wasn't really that noteworthy for anything of really importance. I mean, he asked for infrastructure bills, and Congress was just like... Congress was in a bit of a meltdown at this point, because the Democratic-Republican Party was kind of splitting into two different parties, the Whig Party and, of course, the Democratic Party. So what could he do? I guess just wait and get fucking beat in 1828 by someone named Andrew Jackson. He was kind of a dick. Trail of Tears. Oof. Fuck you, Native Americans. Was he cool in ways? I guess, but if you look at it in the context of American history as a whole, Native Americans were pretty fucked over badly for the rest of history. Within the country itself, that is. So I'm ranking him above the Adams. Martin Van Buren presided over a great financial panic, got the blame for it, is not remembered for a lot, but because of him a lot of regulations were accounted for within banks, so I'd say he's upper tier. I'd rank him even above Jackson. He was the successor to Jackson. He was basically Andrew Jackson, but less charismatic and less killy. Benjamin Harrison came after Martin Van Buren, was president for 30 days because this dumb fucking idiot during his inauguration speech. So this is what happened. He went out there, he didn't wear a coat or anything. And he was there for 2 hours giving this inauguration speech, giving me guys, this is all the awesome shit we're gonna do. Then he got sick, died of pneumonia, 30 days later, dumb moron. He gets a nah ranking. A nah ranking means he just sucks. John Tyler, he was kicked out by his own party, which was fucking hilarious. He's the only president besides Washington who served without a party. Not because of his own accord, but because people within his party didn't fucking like him, because he wouldn't sign any of the bills they would send him. So he's like a lesser known president. He deserves low C tier. So James K Polk was kinda cool. He campaigned on the promise of only needing one term to do a lot of the things that he promised. And guess what? He did a majority of the things he promised. He's an underrated president and one of the most consequential presidents. There was a huge chunk of Mexico that was gained under his presidency, and although it fucked over the Mexicans, it was pretty cool for the United States. So I'm ranking him above Buren. Zachary Taylor was a famous military commander during the War of 1812 and the 12th President of the United States. He died in office. No one remembers him. Boo. Millard Fillmore. Who gives a shit about Millard Fillmore? When I hear jokes about, like, obscure presidents, the most common ones are about Millard Fillmore because what the fuck did he do? Who the fuck even is Millard Fillmore? More unknown than Zachary Taylor. Very obscure, did not do much in the grand scheme of American history. Franklin Pierce was bullied to appease the South because he was a frightened little Democrat. He was handsome though, I gotta admit that. He's one of the most handsome presidents. I'd rank him above Taylor because of how handsome he is. James Buchanan is one of the worst goddamn presidents of all time. When people say like, oh, Trump's the worst president, that is not true. James Buchanan did jack shit to stop the growing tensions between the South and the North. He was just like, I don't give a shit. It's up to the next president to determine what happens with that. He was bad. One of the worst. There would only be one worse than him, but we'll get to him soon enough. Abraham Lincoln was fucking cool. He was a wrestler. Emancipation Proclamation for the fucking win. I say that unironically. And, well, he freed the slaves. So, I rank him above Washington. Great job. Got shot in the head, though. Didn't finish his second term. Big oopsie. Andrew Johnson was a small penis motherfucker. So, here's the thing about Johnson. He set back civil rights like 100 years because he opposed, like, the radical Republicans and all they were doing in the South during post-Civil War. He was a dick, a real dick. He was impeached for a reason. He was only acquitted by the Senate by one vote. I hope this guy is rotting in hell. Ulysses Grant. He had an administration covered in corruption. He drank a lot. Fantastic war hero, not a fantastic president. So I'd rank him above Tyler. He served 2 terms for a reason. He as a character himself was okay, but the people surrounding him were not okay. Rutherford B. Hayes, part of the Gilded Age presidents, not known for much, except for the fact that he won the Electoral College by 1 vote in the election of 1876. So basically he took troops out of the South so he could become president, and following that, African Americans or blacks, they did not have a good time. He's lower C. James Garfield was fucking cool. He was ambidextrous, could write with both hands in both Greek and Latin, which is neat, and also has the last name of Garfield. What more do you need? B tier. Chester Arthur. So following the assassination of James Garfield, Chester Arthur became president. He did not do much because during this time, much of power relied heavily on Congress and the presidency was very limited in its powers. So, since he was kind of a weak president, I'd say he's lower, above, like above Pierce. Mark Grover Cleveland. He was both the 22nd president and 24th president. That's right, 2 non-consecutive terms. Not a lot is known about this guy, and that's for a reason, because there's nothing really interesting about him besides the fact that he's 22 and 24. So I'd rank him above Jackson. I guess something to note is that during the 1890s, there was a panic in 1893, and this harmed his Democratic Party harshly, which led to the election of William McKinley. So, above Jackson. Benjamin Harrison. He's the grandson of good old William Harrison here. And unlike William Harrison, he actually served out his first term. He didn't win re-election though. Did not do that good of a job as president. Really unknown. I'd say above Pierce. William McKinley and his Spanish-American War. asked Congress to go to war with Spain and the whole entire ordeal in Latin America. Did a couple neat things. He's overshadowed by a successor, though. I'd rank him right below Polk. Theodore Roosevelt is fucking awesome. S tier. Fucking so charismatic. Progressive Republican during a time where America needed a progressive period. He was a rough rider. He got shot while giving a speech during his re-election bid in 1912. He was absolutely cool. And look at that fucking mustache. Based. Simply based. I'm gonna label this. Based. William Taft was a big boy. He eventually became Supreme Court Justice following his presidency, and also lost a shit ton of weight. I believe it was 90 pounds. I forget. I'd have to look it up because I'm doing this on the top of my head. But William Taft signed a lot of bills, but no one really remembers them. And that's for a reason, because he's not that memorable. Woodrow Wilson. He showed The Birth of a Nation, this really racist movie back in 1915 in the White House. Called it one of the finest films he's ever seen. Did not care really for African Americans. However, he was president during World War I, guided us through that. I'd rank him above William McKinley. A funny thing to note, he created the League of Nations, tried to get the United States into the League of Nations. Congress was just like, nah, fuck you, Wilson. And he was like, well, shit. Then he had I believe it was a stroke. His wife, Edith Wilson, basically led the country in the shadows of his presidency. Which is a pretty neat fact to know. Warren G. Harding was a shitty president. Corrupted administration and corrupted president. Didn't seem to care about the country. Died in office. Good riddance. It's good old silent cow. Although he did not say much, he was cool. Won re-election in 1924, and I believe a landslide. Made peace talks with Native Americans. Everybody in 1928 was just like, dude, Calvin, run. And he was just like, nah, I don't need another term. He was that confident in his brief time in office that he did a good job. B tier. Herbert Hoover gets a lot of shit because of the Great Depression, but he tried, guys. He actually really tried. It's just, when you're president while the economy is doing shitty, you are not guaranteed to do well. You're gonna get the blame for it. He's, I'd say, below Buren. Franklin Delano Roosevelt. I mean, the New Deal. World War II, all of this shit. I mean, he had 12 years as president, so I guess it's a bit unfair in the grand scheme of things, because most of these guys only had 48 years. But even then, all that he did within his first term in office, which was basically just the New Deal, was fantastic. It was kind of weird when he tried to pack the courts with more than 9 justices, but oh well. Low A tier. Dwight Delano Eisenhower. I like Ike. You like Ike. Everybody fucking likes Ike. He won re-election in landslides. Was kind of a golf time president. Would just play golf all the time. Upper B. He was cool. He hated Nazis. JFK, more like JF Gay. Is he overhyped? Yeah, a bit. I guess getting shot makes you a bit overhyped. But he was charismatic. He was young. When people think about him, it makes them feel better. So I'll rank him low B. The Bay of Pigs went fucking terribly, but that was something that was left off from the Eisenhower administration. But during the Cuban Missile Crisis, he showed some great strength. Lyndon Baines Johnson gets overhated for Vietnam, and no one really talks about his fucking great society with Medicare, Medicaid, his war against poverty, which didn't get that far, so overall, I'd rank him low B tier. I may get some hate for it, but he wasn't that bad of a president. Also, he called his penis Jumbo. I'm not kidding, you could look that up. He would brag about his penis size all the fucking time while president. Richard Milhouse Nixon. So Watergate, am I right, guys? He visited China, signed SALT, did things to ease the tensions during the Cold War. It gets overshadowed, though, due to the corruption in his administration. I would rank him below McKinley. Gerald R. Ford was president for only 2 years following the Richard Nixon presidency. He did not do much. He was president during the bicentennial, but other than that, there's nothing much of notoriety. President during the fall of Saigon, end of Vietnam. Next to Pearson Taylor. Good old Jimmy Carter, the peanut farmer from Georgia. He was kind of got a shitty card. So the economy was not doing well. Stagflation and whatnot, people losing jobs. He was president under this Iran-Contra affair. He failed trying to save those hostages. It was not epic for him back in 1980. Lost to Ronald Reagan in a huge landslide. Same tier as Ford. Ronald Wilson Reagan. I was in love with this dude back in high school, but now that I look at it at a contemporary angle from a sophomore in college, I believe that Reaganomics did not do wonders for the economy. In fact, it fucked over successor George Bush. Charismatic though, he was cool. I enjoyed him. I rank him same as Kennedy. People think about him and think, oh, the 80s were so fucking cool. That's probably what contributes to his popularity today. Nostalgia. George Bush, he was like Jimmy Carter, got handed a shitty card, ironically, from his predecessor. So, Bush, Gulf War, Operation Desert Storm lasted 1 month. He could have gone further and taken out Saddam Hussein, saved the trouble for his son here, but he was just like, nah. People label him as a monster. I don't think so. I don't think he's a monster. I think he was more of a foreign president than a domestic president, which did not do wonders for him in 1992. I'd rank him, I'd say, like, same as, like, right above Nixon. Bill Clinton. Now you see, Bill Clinton had a great economy, surplus, no deficit. He got his pee-pee sucked by Monica Lewinsky, and he went wee-wee. And overall, okay, not that bad. Not that bad at all. I'd say lower B. Lower B. I'm gonna put him lower B. So that was all the presidents, except these 3. Tier listed. What do you think? What do you think? Am I wrong? Am I right? When am I gonna upload a new video? Hopefully by the end of this month. But this was a quick little fun thing to just make. I had a great time. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you next time. And also, fuck Andrew Johnson. He's a dick.